Welcome back to Tipton Bros. Today, we'll be discussing the American Beechcraft XA-38 Grizzly. Design, development, service history, and specifications will be provided. Before we begin, I must disclose that I am no expert and never claim to be. Now, let's get into it. As with all countries involved during World War II, a constant stream of innovation, trial and error, sparked by competition, led to scores of newfangled and groundbreaking aircraft platforms. But with success comes failure, and an untold number of designs would never escape the prototype phase. The Beechcraft XA-38 Grizzly is one such aircraft. In early 1942, the Beechcraft Corporation out of Wichita, Kansas, would submit a well-refined blueprint for a new ground attack aircraft at request of the United States Army Air Forces. This concept would immediately pique their interest. A replacement for the aging yet effective Douglas A-20 Havoc was a primary focus for the USAAF, and Beechcraft engineers might just have the answer. In December of 1942, a contract for 2 complete prototypes was issued. Initially branded the Model 28, the light bomber was soon transitioned into a ground attack aircraft, with an emphasis on disabling armored targets, such as bunkers, tanks, or other fortified structures. May 7, 1944, nearly 2 years later, the freshly branded XA-38 Grizzly took to the skies. Again, flown out of Wichita, Kansas by Beech test pilot Vern Karstens, the aircraft performed marvelously and was noted to have a top speed far higher than was first estimated. Following the successful test flight, both prototypes were delivered to Elgin Airfield in Florida to endure further trials orchestrated by the U.S. Army. While the Grizzly would again impress onlookers and pilots alike, one crucial flaw was evident when all was said and done. The XA-38 utilized 2 Wright R-3350-43 supercharged air-cooled radial engines, producing a colossal 2,700 horsepower each, a fantastic and powerful system in its own right. The issue is that by 1944, the infamous Boeing B-29 Superfortress employed the same engine. The heavy bomber obviously took precedence over a mere prototype. The Allied push for complete air superiority was in full swing, and the suffocating production of the B-29 was essential to ending the war. On the flip side, the XA-38 Grizzly was a specialized ground attack aircraft, a role that in late 1944 was more or less unnecessary. Despite its unfortunate demise, to no fault of its own, the Beechcraft XA-38 Grizzly is a tremendously remarkable aircraft. A crew of 2 occupied the 4-piece fuselage, the pilot in the cockpit and the rear gunner in the dorsal position, both with separate glazed canopies. While the Grizzly had a small crew, it was armed to the teeth. Armament consisted of a main 75mm cannon which protruded outward from the nose cone assembly and held a capacity of 20 rounds. On top of this, 6 50 caliber Browning air-cooled heavy machine guns were strategically placed around the fuselage. 2 static mounted just below the main cannon within the nose structure, 2 in a remotely operated ventral turret, and 2 in a remotely operated dorsal turret. The dual-mounted electric turrets were operated by the rear gunner, who aimed using a periscope sighting system. The XA-38 could also be equipped with conventional external ordnance, such as bombs, torpedoes, and drop tanks to name a few. The maximum speed topped out at 370 miles per hour, with a service ceiling of 28,000 feet. The Grizzly was so quick, in fact, that it outran the single-engine fighters sent to monitor its flight. This happened on more than one occasion. Furthermore, the XA-38 boasted an astoundingly short takeoff and landing distance when at low speed. As a result of the 2 massive Wright R-3350 duplex cyclone engines, churning out 2,700 horsepower each, the Grizzly was able to attain a climb rate of 2,600 feet per minute. The performance and handling of this aircraft can truly not be overstated. The Beechcraft XA-38 Grizzly was 52 feet in length, 15 feet 6 inches in height, with a wingspan of 67 feet 4 inches. While not compact, the well-balanced layout of the airframe, coupled with the immense power output, more than compensated for the Grizzly's size. Beechcraft engineers exceeded expectations and created a stunning machine, one that lapped the A-20 Havoc in all categories. Had the XA-38 exploited a separate engine type, different from that of the B-29, it may have been a US classic that served for decades to come. Unfortunately, this was not the case. Of the 2 Beechcraft XA-38 Grizzlies created, one was scrapped soon after the war's conclusion, and the other is lost to time, its whereabouts unknown. Not sure how you misplace a 52-foot ground attack aircraft, but so be it. I hope you've enjoyed today's brief overview of the American Beechcraft XA-38 Grizzly. We are a small channel, so a like is greatly appreciated, and recommendations are always welcome. Again, I am no expert and never claim to be. Until next time, on Tipton Bros.